Hi, this is me, Jackie. This is a video about different ideas that I've gotten, and I wanted to share them with others in case others wanted to do them. Idea. Why isn't video game websites made legal like TV and radio legally shows and plays copyrighted in libraries, land, and video stores used to, and do they buy license to, or have, or how do they do it? Although I just wish they'd just reissue some of the retro games, if they're like the rarer ones or the really good puzzle or animal G-rated ones, or the really retro, colorful, really old computer games. Ideas should be something stalls for privacy stalls for men's restrooms, urinals, for men's public restrooms, for modesty, for some modesty, maybe why they lack it in relationships, because bathrooms encourage being comfortable exhibitionists, which isn't helpful. Sin of immodesty ruins relationships, like as in getting involved too fast before even knowing you like or like each other enough. Doors maybe aren't needed, so quick access and ease. Well, yeah, doors could be added, but okay, whatever. Okay, or yeah, just privacy walls. Privacy walls. Okay, idea. For video games to have as great and same style art on games on cover as on cover art. Although sometimes the simple kind is really good too. But sometimes I do wish the art in the video game would be similar art as on the video game covers, because it's such a great cartoony type style. That'd be cool if video games could look like that sometimes. Not to say that the kind that the art that they have isn't great also, but it'd be cool also to be that style too. Let's see, ideas. Scavenging often houses where people can pick through, scavenging open houses where people can pick through any free leftovers after a estate sale when people move that they want to leave behind extra stuff. Idea. So tape won't rip it for posters to have shiny backing if pulling off videotape to put old tape, pulling off old tape to put fresh on. I'm trying to get all my journalings up here on video. I still have a whole bag worth of cassettes to transcribe that I never get around to doing. I thought I'd hire a secretary someday, but I never really have money to do all these things. So, private idea. No, that's different. Okay. All my private interest journalings I put in different journals. These are just my kind of like business idea, public interest ones. So I put them all together. That alone was a feat to do all that organizing. Having to put them all together in just the right journals, because I used to just put them all in one journal and it was a big mess. It was like I had to separate them finally. Ideas. Put video, or put, okay, I already did that one. Okay. See, I'm getting through this. I'm putting a lot of them. Oh yeah, ideas. Oh, this is a health tip. Asparagus helps cure cancer, I heard. So, if anybody wants to be healthy, there's something that's really healthy. And also, pomegranate, I heard, is really good too. Idea, line of hippie design, indoor lounge area tints for cozy hangout corner to play guitar, read, or hang out with others, etc. Okay. I put a lot of these already. Okay, let me look for another one. Another journal. Where's another journal? Okay, here's one. Da-da-da-da-da-da, another one. I also just wanted to make these videos just in case I die or something. I never get around to doing some of my dreams. Although the world might end soon, and I was figuring maybe that's why I'm not able to do my dreams. Maybe that's why I didn't attract a wealthy guy to help me, and I didn't move to a good business area, and, well, I might still do that. I live near kind of a business area, but it's a couple hours away. If I move there, maybe it'd be easier to do some of my business ideas. Or get a job so I can have money to afford to, but anyway, I just want to share some ideas. I've read in the spiritual book. It was a Messages of God book, I think. He said, if you get any inspirations or something, he said, make sure to share them. And at that time, I was wondering if I should share my ideas, because I was wondering, should I wait till I do the ideas? Or should I just put them out there for others to do, selflessly to put them out there? Or should I selfishly just hoard my ideas? But I figured I might not be able to do this many ideas, so I thought and that book said just to share any good ideas you get or inspirations, share it with others. So that's kind of why I thought I should. So ideas for missionary, evangelists, Christian singers, Christian words, dictionary with lots of major homes and some semi-second major minor languages of Europe and world, like Christianity, Bible, Jesus, Sikh, peace, love, etc. Okay, this is an idea for missionaries. If you're going to another land that speaks other languages and it's hard to communicate in other languages, I know sometimes y'all are trained to, at least LDS ones are trained to learn the languages, which is great, but a way for other people, other churches to do it, you could do little church invite cards, and you could just write on it church in that language, church, go, really simple words. If you don't know how to put together phrases yet, because sometimes in languages phrases are different order than they are in English. Sometimes they're opposite than they are in English. So it's really hard to phrase things correct order. I learned it's really hard to learn languages sometimes. And so if you're a missionary and you don't really want to learn the languages too well, just memorize the word for church, go, church, go. Like I've done that a few times, like with a Spanish lady locally. I didn't really go on a mission trip, but I went, I just did it locally. I asked people if they go to church. If I saw them at a store or something, I'd be like, but this one woman acted like she couldn't speak English and it was Spanish, so I thought, I'll say iglesia. I'll be like, and the word for go, I forgot what it was, or whatever I did, I just said iglesia, and then I showed the little tract I had, the Christian evangelism tract, and it was in Spanish, because I had one in that language too. And she was like, oh, yeah, and she took it. So it was apparently relevant. I mean, it's harder to, in a way, know if they're already Christian in that case, but you could also memorize the word for Christian or church, like go, and if they don't go yet, you can't really ask if they're Christian. Well, okay, I'm complicating it, sorry. Usually I ask, if I'm asking in English, I'd be like, do you go to Christian church yet? And if they already go, then I say, oh, okay, fine. And I don't give them any evangelism because I figure if they're already Christian. But I just ask first to make sure I don't just hand tracts to just anybody, because then it's like, it might not be relevant, I'll be like, that's how a good way to do it. So you don't just harass people with too many papers or whatever if it's not relevant. Like I used to just hand them out just to everybody on the street corner. Like one time when I did it a long time ago. I mean, I didn't do that very often, but I just one time did it with a church group before. And then other time, like locally, I did a few times. If I saw somebody at a store, I'd be like, do you go to Christian church? And they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, would you like an invite? Like it's good to make sure to ask if they want an invite though, because not just give it to them, to make sure they want it, that they're ready, they're inspired, that they might want. And then on the invite card, it could say the time of the church, Well, that's just an idea, I thought. Ideas. Would be helpful if book or online searches make info easy to evangelize, like saying major languages of least Christian places, or also which places are half Christian, so to focus on semi-receptive better than never receptive least Christian places. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what this is saying. Would be helpful. Okay, is it still filming? Okay. Would be helpful if book or online searches made info easy for evangelists, like saying major languages, at least. Oh yeah, and language dictionaries, they should have a little missionary section for missionaries, words for missionaries, because sometimes I've bought a million different language books, but they don't have even the word for Bible, Christianity, because usually when I'm also writing Christian music videos, like I need the words for Christianity, Bible, Jesus, seek, just simple words I use in songs. I don't even do phrases because it's too complicated, because I do too many different languages sometimes. Well, at least I used to. I haven't even done them lately, but if I get back into it, that's how I used to do it. But so if anybody wants to make Christian music videos too, it's good just to make them really simple. If you're not knowing the language, you could just be like church. You could be like Christianity, seek, Bible, Jesus. That could be the words you use in the song, or that could be if you're a missionary, you could be like church. You could just memorize the word for church, and then go, and then just give them a little church invite card in their language of the church and the place and the time. Like, that's an easy way to be a missionary, okay? I just was going to do that myself, but I might still someday, but I don't have money to, so if I ever get a job and money, okay, and stop living in a town that forces me to be on welfare because there's no jobs here, stuff like that. Okay, I need to save up to get out of this stupid town. That's what I need to do. Ideas would be helpful if, okay, I don't know what this was actually saying. It might have been talking about language dictionaries, but I'm not sure. Well, anyway, I was just thinking it'd be cool if there was, I was like, looking for, they do have it online where it says which places are least Christian and most Christian and just moderately Christian. And because I was wanting to find those statistics, and they do say that online, but it's kind of a complicated way they put it. I was just wishing they had it phrased a little simpler. But, because I was thinking the places that are half Christian are best to evangelize because they are the best to, invite to church or whatever. They are the ones that are they're already half inspired. Maybe they just fell away and they need a little bit extra encouragement to come back. And then other places are completely not Christian, so they kind of need to be prayed for first before evangelized, because if they're not receptive to evangelism yet. So you got to pray for their conversion yet. So the conversion prayer is, "O blood and water, which gushed forth from the heart of Jesus at the fountain, mercy for us, I trust in you." That is a good prayer to memorize if you're a missionary. Like, I wanted to be one before, so that's why I'm all into all this stuff. But, so if anybody wants to help their culture, people, that is a good conversion prayer to pray. but you should pray for their conversion before you evangelize them, because most people are not receptive to evangelism. Unless I have seen them be receptive to church inviting. When you invite them to church, they seem receptive to that. If you're just trying to include them and be friendly and stuff like that, it's easier than pushing all your telling them what to do, telling them different things are sins. That's the way that does not work. That's the way that makes people not receptive. But inviting them to church, just being generally friendly like that seemed to help. Okay, ideas. For language dictionaries, a suggestion. Please do include words Christian singers, evangelists, missionaries can, such as especially Christianity, Bible, and Jesus would, and seek our main ones would be key, and many dictionaries don't have these essentials. Yeah, because, for Christian singers and evangelists and missionaries, we would like to have a little section in the language dictionaries with some of the Christian words. Okay, so there's a market for people that might need those words. I mean, they have a whole section in language dictionaries for travelers, but they don't have sections for other types of people. There's Christian singers, there's evangelists, there's missionaries that might need to have some of those Christian words in there too. Like Christianity, Bible, and Jesus, and seek. Some of those type words. Ideas. Easier job search where you can search online by Europe and not to as option, or USA or Australia, etc. Unless want to online, and this same search for personals or etc. in general areas names, then where you job search online by degree needed or 10-year experience needed or not needed kind of jobs, those are big hassle and are in the way, aren't there any others? Because sometimes you just want to find the jobs that don't require a degree, or the jobs that don't require 10 years experience, or the jobs that, or the personals. You might want to just look by the search term of Europe. You want to see all the personals in Europe instead of just all the personals in, they make you search individually in each country of Europe. That's okay too, but too bad they can't just give you all the, because on some personal sites it's not very many people on it anyway, so I wish they'd just give me all of the European profiles, for instance, or whatever country you're looking for, right? Or whatever culture, because it's easier that way than searching individually, especially on a site that doesn't have that many people on it or something. It's it'd be easier to have that option too. I mean, I don't even use personals anymore, but I like when I used to obsessionally use them, and they didn't help at all, and I'm still single. Okay, so I hate them, Okay, idea. Government loans credit with no interest should be for low-income people, or nonprofit charities funds to help, because wealthier loan do the interest loan, credit cards only, then for alternative. Say the interest is based on the income of the person, maybe. So if a person's really poor, it shouldn't have interest on it. Maybe there could be a nonprofit type charity that helps poor people get loans that they still have to pay off, but it's no interest, so it's easier for them because they can't afford interest, and the Bible says not to do interest anyway, and also to drop the debt every 7 years, so I don't know. But idea. Board game rooms can meet at social center too, for moods board game and any others, if they help you practice acting out moods or personality traits at all. And any get to know you party games, and people can share ones they know for book and write games in book to remember them. Room, you can, yeah. Ideas. Obstacle courses theme parks, like some on TV shows before, like in the 80s, but safe as best can. Wouldn't that be fun to have like a theme park, like those TV shows like they used to have with those obstacle courses, like in the 80s or 90s or whatever it was? Or maybe there's modern ones too. But I mean, some of them might have been kind of obstacle courses that were unsafe on parts, but not the unsafe ones, but like the fun, safer ones. Ideas. Dusty air heaters ducts should go downward. You know, like how our heaters are on the floor, those little vents on the floor, so all the dust goes into them, and so when it's turned on, all the dust comes out all over your house. So why are they made that way? They shouldn't be made on the ceiling, maybe, so all the air comes down, and maybe spiders could still climb up into them, but at least all this dust won't fall directly into the heater vents, right? So if it's on the ceiling, the air would come, and the dust wouldn't at least go in as much as when they're on the floor, right? So that would be better, maybe. Just like little ideas I have, like to improve things. It would be cool, but because then throw up from the ground all the dust when the heater is on, and it's not, and the dust may fall in and not as good. Just little ideas I get, I don't know. So if anybody wants to do them, any companies or people, ideas. Should be machines where you can make your own record vinyls and areas and put on own favorite songs, mixtapes, but legally, like where you can make your own. It'd be cool to have machines where you can make your own vinyl records or your CDs or even 8-tracks. You could just put your own mixed of tapes on them. I love 8-tracks, for instance. I just got an 8-track player the other day. It has the best sound ever. Why did they obsolete those? It's better sound than radio or anything. Like, oh my goodness, so good. So they should reissue that type of stuff. I don't know, like if they could make it sound as good as it was. The old cassette tape recorders from the 70s were so good too. I've got this like mint condition little box of a cassette player, and it plays so well. Like it has such good sound. It's really cool. Like they made such good products back then. It's like no wonder music was more popular back then, because they had better audio recorders, I think, back then, because the sound sounded better. Okay, what else? Start Chihuahua breeding farm and pet store, and any small dog breeds. I mean, that was just a business note to myself. But anybody could do it, because, like, sometimes I worry they neuter dogs too much. It's like they hate life and they love death. I wish they wouldn't neuter dogs even when you don't want them to be. Like at the pound, I said, could I just get a dog and not neuter it? And they're like, no, we forcefully neuter every dog. And I'm like, even when I don't want it to be and I might want to breed from it, and they're like, yes, we forcefully neuter them all. And I'm like, what? They're a little bit crazy, a little. I just recommend people not kill off all the species of animals. It would be nicer that way. Because I'm just afraid, like, they're going to extinctify everything. And the void of all these abandoned buildings, in the Messages of God book, it said there'd be a void because of all the abortion. And there kind of is. There's all these abandoned buildings and everything. And I don't know if that's caused by abortion or what, but it could be. Like, there's no people to inherit anything, so everything's abandoned, and it's horrible and sad. And the messages said that people don't trust God enough concerning things like abortion, and it's just sad. But anyway, idea: one-hit wonder Christian music CD collection. What was that saying? One-hit wonder. Yeah, that would be cool. You know how they put out all these compilations of like the different eras of music, and those are really cool. But like they put out like a huge a huge collection of 70s music or whatever. That's really cool. But like they could also do the one hit wonder Christian music CD compilation collection, because there's a lot of good those retro Christian music, and they never play it on the radio either. The retro Christian music, I know some are one hit wonder, but why not just make a huge music collection, CD collection, and put it out, reissue just the one hits of them then, if that's what it is. But there's a lot of those, like the one hits at least, they count. I mean, why not reissue those in a big, huge collection? Because if you add all those together, it'd probably be a lot. Because there's all kinds of on YouTube, all kinds of obscure Christian vinyl records from the olden days. They never put them on the radio, and they never reissue them or anything. So, and I don't know why, since some of them are really good. Questions, ideas. Maybe for this communion, for just communion, not every week as after at some churches, because of verse warning, if more so of a sinner, better not to their condemnation receive communion. So when, but Jesus in Message's book also said, probably meaning for the not as sinful to not miss communion, because oppositely said helps us gain graces, and it's better not to miss it if you can. So, well, the Jesus messages, he was saying not to miss communion if you can, because it's really important to gain graces. And then, I guess graces help you in life or something, or I'm not sure, but like also the Bible said not to receive communion unworthily because it gets condemnation or something. But so that's kind of contradicting each other, but in a way, it must make sense somehow. Okay, I always get confused by those parts. I don't know. Okay, but not completely, because I analyze it and then I figure out, and it kind of makes sense after a while, of course, depending on the circumstance. But so does that mean it's good to go to the churches that don't have communion very often? If you're kind of in a struggling sinful mode, and it's extra hard for you lately, and then if you're not struggling with sin as much, maybe it's better to go to the churches with the communion, that have the communion really often, like all the time. Is that what it's meaning? Because that's what I took from it. So I thought it's good that they have both kinds of churches, ones that have communion regularly and ones that don't have it very often, or ones that don't have it at all. It's good depending on if you're going through a sinful stage and you don't want to get condemnation, go to the ones that don't have communion for a while. And if you stop struggling as much, then you could go to the ones with more often communion. So that's how I figure it. Okay, ideas. If your house is haunted with human souls type ghosts, making sure to get them prayed for the right prayer for purgatory souls to rest in peace type prayers, and not the prayers of exorcism. These are for evil spirits like demons. And so if it seems like it's a ghost and not an evil spirit, that kind of prayer I heard won't work when it's just lost souls in house, unless it's both. Then pray both to fully help. Okay, I see this mistake a lot because I kind of study the paranormal a lot. I got really obsessed about it because I lived in this house used to be haunted, but I think I prayed for all the ghosts now. There was a lot of them. Wow, and I think I prayed for them all, but it was crazy. Yep, I experienced every paranormal thing possible, probably. Okay, so anyway, but what I learned from living in one is that the right prayer to pray, I've noticed a lot of people pray the wrong prayer. It seems like they pray the exorcism prayer, pray for protection, selfish protection, and that's fine and great, good, and that's really helpful too. But what if it's just a ghost of a human, and it's not even an evil spirit? In that case, you should pray for their conversion. Pray for their conversion. The O blood and water which gush forth from the heart of Jesus as a fountain of mercy for us. I trust in you. That's the conversion prayer. The prayer Jesus said, if you pray on behalf of a sinner, he will grant them the grace of conversion. That's a really important prayer to memorize. if you live in a haunted house, if you know of anybody you want to see later in the good realm that you're worried about, that you don't know if they're going to make it or whatever, you're not sure, and you want to make sure, you want to feel assured and happy that you get to see all your friends later in heaven or whatever. Or even if you want to help your enemies make it there, you see their good qualities and you're sad that they're struggling and you just hope to see them there too. Pray for anybody. Pray for any strangers, any criminals you see in the news, any ghost story people. And that's what I do all the time because I'm unemployed and I have nothing else to do. And that's very lucky because there's probably nobody been as bored as I am in life enough to actually pray for the souls, because they've been haunting for hundreds of years, and how come nobody prays for them? Has nobody been as oppressed and hindered as me in life to pray for them? I guess not. So I'm lucky in that way. I get to help all kinds of souls just because I have no life. So in a way, it's lucky to not have a life. It's like a blessing in disguise because it's helping all kinds of people. It's funny that way, huh? How life works so mysteriously like that. Although I would have liked to have a family and been a business success and do all my business dreams and everything, but maybe it's not meant to be because the world's ending or something. So I don't know. It's all mysterious sometimes why our lives go how they go. We move to oppressive towns where we can't do anything or meet anyone and all this, but oh well, it's sad, but maybe I'll get unoppressed someday. But okay, so I just wanted to throw that out there though. There's a misconception that people pray the wrong prayer, Like when they're living in a haunted house, they always get somebody to pray a prayer, but what if it's the wrong prayer? You got to make sure to pray the souls crossing over type of prayers if it's a ghost, if it's souls needing help. If it's evil spirits, then fine, yeah, pray the protection exorcism prayers, but if it's a human soul, if there's any chance it could be, always pray the crossing over prayers, the conversion prayers. Just pray, I pray for the ghost conversions that are in my house, or whatever would work if you don't want to pray the official prayer that Jesus said to pray. But he said this official prayer will help their conversion. And I think souls are stuck because they don't have a full conversion. That's why they're stuck. Maybe kids are ghosts. You wouldn't think they would be ghosts, but you hear about animals and kids and all these innocent types are ghosts, but maybe they just aren't fully converted yet. They didn't have time to get fully converted. They weren't really that Christian yet. Maybe they're just very minimally, but they didn't understand enough yet to actually feel like they're ready to cross over. Maybe they don't feel like they're ready to cross over. They don't understand it enough. And praying for their conversion will help them understand enough they'll be helped, divinely helped to cross over. That's what I think. So I just want to share all the things I learn in life, and all the cool ideas I get, and I just wanted to share that in case it'll help anybody or give anybody cool things to do. If it's relevant, I don't know. Like I say, it might be the end of the world or something. Maybe none of this is relevant, but I get inspired anyway. Maybe just throwing my ideas out there will inspire people to start thinking about how the new world will start to be. I feel like there's going to be a new world coming, and I get visions of the new world. Maybe that's what this is all about. All my ideas, maybe they're visions of the new world. That's what I thought. And I thought, how cool. Like, I'm visioning like a utopia world and how things could be set up. And maybe I'm just having visions for the future. And I'll just share some of those with you all because they're just interesting, to think of new cool ways we can make the world. And maybe it'll help kind of inspire people to start thinking along those lines if I throw some of those visions I have, those ideas that I've had out there, because we're probably supposed to start getting into that mindset of a new, better way of life, because if Jesus is coming to reign 1,000 years soon, and we might as well start getting into this more inspired mindset of how better world ideas, that we can make the world. So okay, what else? Ideas was only allowed to be thought with old people, so someone young are left to inherit what's being fought over. Otherwise, no one will win what fighting over, because young adults may not. Something kids get, kids yet an older die off, then bunches and bunches of women bring no one to marry. Doesn't seem like the void of people would be minimum, even moving somewhere else and surrendering and giving your country and to your foe was be better. That's how in Bible story it worked. When some were stealing their wells, they kept building different ones and charitably giving up their something, didn't fight or steal something, cook their some things I saved for last because I wrote them so badly. Then there's be enough for everyone too. If people did I can't read it, I'm sorry. If people kept moving on to prevent now something and build new cities so didn't covet with enemies. Well, I kind of explained this one, I think, already. I was just saying it's cool, like, if we could give up something and give it to somebody else if they're stealing it from us anyway, and just count it as charity or something in some cases. And if it'll prevent a war or prevent a, but I don't know. Maybe that's... Okay, ideas. Car seats should face each other for conversations would be more fun in back seats. And retro reissue cars of old styles made in modern days, like 70s style, cool, and skylights in front seat. Well, I just think that could be made like retro reissue replica cars with the cool old styles of the olden days. Some of the cool styles, like the seats that faced each other, like, those old station wagons used to have, or whatever, the 70s style. But like 70s cars sometimes had exhaust when you put in the wrong gas or whatever, so that wasn't perfect or whatever, and they'd break down and it was horrible. But so it'd be cool, like, to design them in similar styles, though, because sometimes they were designed well in the way that they were larger. Larger is safer than the smaller, because smaller is safe, I don't think. But anyway, so some ways the old style we should bring back, some styles, maybe some features, and reissue them in new stuff. But ideas: if new way of working, just half year idea could be every 3 months off work and 3 months on work, or something, where would equal and let be breaks through year and half the year off, so to be balanced, half time for holidays and helping have time for families and friends and hobbies and rest. Since people wind up taking sick days and quitting and all this stress, frazzle, getting fired for being incompetent, all this anyway, and they don't enjoy work as much and they're hard to be around as much, they don't enjoy it and they're not as fulfilled anyway when they overwork. So you might as well just have people only work half time. They would be better workers and more fulfilled and enjoy it more, and they wouldn't take as many days off or play hooky or anything as much. And they wouldn't get divorces as much or do a abortion or anything as much, probably, if they actually made more money and worked less. That's how society should be. Helping prevent divorce and loneliness problems and no time for friends. Okay, like in a perfect world, if we could just make it, that way, where people only work half the time, like really literally half the time, not full time. Because they make it now like where you kind of have to work full time sometimes to even make enough money, otherwise you barely make any money. But I guess you could still live on the part time, but it's just, but I don't know. I just think they should make jobs, like stores could still be open all the time, but like where, except Sundays, they really shouldn't be. It's bad for business. Not keeping the Sabbath is bad for business. The Bible says you'll be brought to ruin. So that's bad luck. If you do, keep your business open on Sabbath. That's all I'm saying. Okay, but anyways, so okay, well, moving on to the next idea. Whatever. Just saying. I like to emphasize some points because really people are not getting certain points. They're not living by them at all. And it's jinxing their businesses to go out, and it's just sad to see. Okay? And if anybody wonders what's jinxing, y'all, I see it, and I read that verse that explained it, and so apparently nobody else did, but I did, so wanted to share that. Okay. Oh, my battery's going out. Okay, that's good.